Hi everybody, Brian from Bearable Traders here. It's the weekend, April 22nd. This of course is the weekend video. This is where I go through last week's action. We had lots of stuff going on like Tesla earnings, and then we'll look ahead and see what we got coming up this week. There's certainly lots more earnings on deck as we get some of these mega cap companies reporting. So let's get down to it. So we'll start out just looking at what happened last week, the week of April 17th. You can see here the index is finished pretty flat on the week. The IWM was up a little bit from the small caps as we get through the regional bank earnings reports. But investors and traders, I just think, are a little bit, they're on the sidelines. They're not sure whether this continued rate hiking cycle by the Fed is going to result in a full recession, as some are predicting, or if we're just going to come out of this with a soft landing. So it's an ongoing debate, and of course with that there's really no direction in the market per se. So you can see as we go through the charts, you'll see that we're really sort of getting into a narrowing trading range here. So next week, of course, we got a slew of earnings coming up, lots of mega cap names like Amazon and Microsoft, Google, and that'll all be interesting. On the week, we had some of the defensives and real estate sectors. Real estate was the worst, it was the biggest loser last week, and this week it was the biggest gainer. It seemed to get a lot of these flip-flopping back and forth, winners and losers. I believe energy was one of the winners week before, so now it's at the bottom of the list as we've had a bit of a sell-off on energy. 2-year and 10-year just, creeping up, but no big move one way or another. US dollar was down a little last week, was up a little this week. So again, sort of just narrow price action. And Bitcoin took a big hit this week, dropping back down below 30,000. And you can see here it's trading around 27.5 as of this video. So that's where we were last week. So before we get into looking at charts, as always, I like to do a quick little plug for my book on Amazon, Profiting as an Active Trader, Guide to Trading Tools, Money Management Rules, Strategies, and the Routines that I use as an active stock and option trader. And I've been doing more option trading lately. It's just been a good strategy in this sort of low stock price movement period of time here. So anyway, you can check it out there. So let's take a look at some charts now. And I always like to start out with the Treasuries. You can see here we're really in a narrow trading range. Again, sort of a reflection of not sure where things are going with the economy with this rate hiking cycle. And the 2-year and the 10-year up slightly on the week, but really just sort of in this very narrow range here. Which is typically more typical of the Treasury environment. You don't get these huge moves normally, so we're sort of settling into a range here for the time being. Transports on the week, and you can see here this is sort of a theme. We are getting into smaller trading ranges. You can see we were down a little bit on Friday. But you can see we're making kind of an ascending triangle. Now we do have UPS reporting on, I believe it's Monday, sometime next week, early next week anyway. But you can see we're making a bit of a wedge here, and I'd keep an eye on UPS because UPS earnings could make the difference of whether this breaks out of this wedge and breaks higher. And you can see there we've got some resistance levels here, so we could break out and break up to this 15,000 over 15,000 on another move if UPS comes out with some positive news here. The Dow, again, you can see the week we're just we actually finished down. I think this was the first week in about 4 we finished down on the Dow. And you can see here very narrow trading range on the week. This is a weekly, but we're right up at resistance here at one level here. This 33,000 or 33,900. This is we're right just bumping our heads against there, and I think some more good news will push this index higher. The Qs, same thing. We're really in we've been in this sort of narrow trading range here for a couple weeks now, and we'll see this on the weekly chart. You can see here 3 weeks of pretty much virtually no movement one way or another. This 320 just seems to be an area that some resistance, so some good numbers out of these mega cap names may push us higher again. The SPY, again, a little bit more volatile. We were up on the week and then we did pull back. Again, we're sort of right at an area here, threatening to break out and making higher lows. So you can see here the trend is to higher. And yeah, same comment. We'll see what happens with these earnings. Again, yeah, IWM kind of settling into a bit of a trading range here as well. Same thing. Another ascending triangle, so we are sort of threatening to break out here. And the VIX, I always like to keep an eye on the VIX because the volatility, just an indication of fear. And you can see here we've broken down below this prior support level and trading down in this range here, and it's just really, really weak, which means nobody's got a lot. There's not a lot of fear of any kind of a sell-off. The dollar, again, sort of flat on the week, up a little bit overall. On the weekly, you can see we're up about 0.25% on the week, but again, really not much movement one way or another. But a pretty significant sell-off over the last couple of weeks here, and maybe finding a bit of a bottom here on the dollar. Bitcoin's making a bit of a bounce here. I looked at it a little while ago. It was 27,500. Now it's 27,680. So Bitcoin, but a big sell-off this week here on Bitcoin. I think there was some run up into that, maybe on some of the Ethereum news, and maybe it's a bit of a sell the news event here. As far as stuff I'm watching this week, you can see here, again, kind of keeping an eye on Apple. I haven't done an options trade on Apple, but again, to me, this is a good candidate for an options trade. You can see here 168 continues to be sort of an area where it's seeing resistance. It is still in an uptrend. If you draw a line here beneath all these bottoms, it is still definitely holding this trend line up. A little bit of a scary, it could be scary to sell calls above here, but if you could definitely sell some puts down here. And collect premium and let it expire, because it just seems like it is still in an uptrend. And again, on a weekly, we do look like we're having some struggles here at 165, but again, some good news on the caps this week will be good. Again, this another opportunity for options. You can see here this 110 area on Airbnb seems to be a good area to find some support, especially with this 200-day moving average right here. So again, selling some 110 puts. If you really don't want to go naked on these, which it is very risky going, some bad news on Airbnb could send this plunging and really take out your position. But if you wanted to sell some 110s and then buy 105s or something like that, that would give you limited downside risk instead of unlimited, and but it would take away some of your profit because you'd have to be buying the puts down there. So Amazon's interesting. Amazon is breaking out now. It is going to be reporting this week. I do not like, if you read my books, I do not like to hold stocks through any kind of position through an earnings. I really prefer to trade the options after earnings, and you'll see a few of those examples here as we go through the charts. You can see here we broke out, nice move. Amazon is reporting, and we'll see what happens after they report. Baidu, I've mentioned this a number of times in my videos over the last couple of weeks. I am short. I did take some profits at the 200-day, and I'm still short, and I added back to my position as we broke down because I wasn't sure if we were going to bounce here, but just trading around this a little bit, but still short Baidu, and I think now we are probably going to go down and test this 120 level, 121. I'll be looking to take some more profits there. Google, again, one of the ones that's reporting. I'll be watching that one after it reports. I won't be taking a position before. JPM. This is an example of how you can use options. You could see here 142, definitely an area of prior resistance here. 4 or 5 times tested it and failed. So here we came right back up to this 142. Could have sold some calls right there. And again, if you wanted to protect the position, you could have bought some calls up higher, say 145s, but sell the 142s because you knew it was going to have some struggles getting through here. And you know, wait for a couple days. This was when it reported good numbers. You have wait out a couple days, see where it tops out, and that was just a logical place. I didn't trade that, by the way. I wish I had, but that would have been sort of my classic options trade after earnings. So here's LVS. We have broken out on LVS. LVS reported last week, good numbers, lots of positive comments. So easily could be moving up to well, you've got levels here at 65. And then 67 or 68, and then of course well through 70. So Las Vegas Sands seems like Las Vegas Sands is actually mostly a Macau play. So something to keep an eye on there. Netflix. So here is a trade I actually have done. So Netflix dropped on earnings on the what was this, Wednesday. Seemed to hold around, you know, closed above 320. We came back and retested 320 on Thursday, and we came back and retested 320 on Friday. So noticing that, I actually sold some 320 puts on Friday when we started to come back up off that level again. So 320 seems like the magic level for Netflix. There's, you know, earnings have been reported. It's presumably not so much more negative news or potential negative news coming out. So I'm long, or I'm short the puts. So which means I'm long the stock. So as long as Netflix now stays above 320, I will hold on to those puts. And I think I got about $3.50 for them. So I'll just let them, as if the stock continues to move higher next week, I'll just let them continue to depreciate in value. And maybe if it's really far away at the end of the week, I'll just let them expire worthless and keep that premium. So that's a typical trade I've done for earnings trade without actually being long or short through earnings. Just a note here, we had this massive run up in in gold. And then the dollar has started to strengthen up a little bit, and you can see what's happened here. So I think gold has lost the 2,000 level, and just keep an eye on that right now. Again, here's a interesting play for NVIDIA where we really are at a trading range here. I was short the 280 call here, and it expired worthless because this 280 level seems to be an area where we're struggling. But you can see here lots of support at 260. So Tesla, a big drop here, and we'll see what happens here on Thursday, Friday. I might look at selling some 160s just the same way I did with Netflix. And that's it, everybody. So doing a quick wrap up here, you can see there's where we are with all the indexes. Some of these support and resistance levels have tightened up a bit as the market action, as we sort of narrow into a very small trading range on some of these indexes here. So some of these have tightened up a bit, support and resistance. And yeah, economic events. We've got some housing stats on Tuesday. Consumer confidence at 10 on Tuesday, and then you can see here GDP, jobless claims again on Thursday. And this is the big one that the Fed watches all the time, PCE, price index. This is one of their favorite gauges of inflation. So that's out Friday at 8:30. So you can expect some interesting price action as we get that number. And of course, for everybody, I think everybody's hoping that this is going to continue to show cooling in of inflation. As far as earnings go, as I've mentioned a number of times here, lots of earnings on deck next week, lots of interesting names, and you can go through them there, but we've got the biggies like Microsoft and Alphabet, McDonald's, Boeing, you've got Meta, or the old Facebook, Roku, and yeah, just names going on Amazon, Snap. So will be an interesting week. That's it, everybody. Hope you are having a great weekend, and we'll see you 8 o'clock on Monday morning. And some of us will be in Vegas next week. Megan, myself, Mike, and Artie, who will be presenting at the Money Show in Vegas. So we will be there. If you're going to be in the neighborhood, you can drop in Tuesday. We will, at 5 o'clock, we will be doing a meetup. So you can join us for a beer if you're in the neighborhood. That would be great. Other than that, like I said, usual 8 o'clock pre-market show starts, and then trading the market at open 9:30 with our members. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll hopefully maybe even see you in Vegas. Who knows? Bye for now.